Welcome to the Temple of Tarot, Astrology, and Yoga. My name is Ava, and I'm going to be your guide for this exploration of off-grid living. I moved to this location, which is on the big island of Hawaii, in November 2024. I went through a hurricane in Florida in October 2024, and my life turned upside down immediately from one day to the next, and I lost everything. So it became a pivotal point for me to make a decision as to what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I'm a Pisces Scorpio rising and I was born in 1952, the year of the dragon. I'm a water dragon. So at my age, it was a very serious decision to make. But I decided that the best thing I could do is move back to Hawaii, where I had lived before on Maui. But this time I chose to live on the Big Island, because Maui, beautiful she remains, is very different than when I experienced it in the 90s. It is a lot more congested, and now with the absence of Lahaina, everything is very crowded, but beautiful, and I remain in love with Maui. But here, this is the least corporate of the Hawaiian chain of islands. It's called the Big Island because it is that. It's big. And it is volcanic. So there's always a sort of looming threat of absolute destruction of your home and property. People live with that here and still continue to cultivate and to create abundance out of the devastations of lava flows. I live on one of those previous lava flows that happened maybe 45 years ago. And in this 45-year period, it's regrown. It is recaptured nature. Nature has bloomed out of the lava. And I live on one of those blooms, close to the ocean, which I can hear in the distance at night. It's a beautiful sound. About a mile and a half, perhaps, as the crow flies from the ocean. And there's pure air blown off 2,000 miles of open ocean that wafts over my home. It is, for me, the primary reason I live off-grid. But there are other reasons people choose to live off-grid. Again, perhaps they want to get close to nature, have a deeper connection with nature, simplify their life. Disconnect from the complexities of modern life. Again, not completely, because some will remain dependent on those complexities, those modern complexities, to give them food. So, for instance, there's a town close to here where I go. I travel to that town and I buy groceries. But there is the opportunity here very soon for me to grow my own food, to learn how to do that, because I don't know how to do that. But I'd love to learn how to do that. Again, adding to my feeling of self-sufficiency. Getting off the utility grid is a way for you to attain self-sufficiency and to reduce the costs of living, to simplify. I don't know if it makes sense to you to do such, to be in a situation that's so radically, a radical departure from how people normally live. But it's not that difficult. It was, well, perhaps there was a bit of difficulty when I first came here, but it had to do with my own naivety. I kind of launched into this head first without seeing how deep the water was. And what I found was that perhaps I should have been a little bit more forceful in putting in those components that were necessary immediately, as opposed to trying to get the best deal possible on every single aspect of it as I went along. It's a sort of inborn frugality that I have. My moon is in Taurus. Frugal, stable. Everything has to be step by step by step, careful, careful. I should have researched it a little bit more thoroughly, because when you come out into an off-grid property, you don't have internet. So I was offline or online with difficulty before, say, March of this year. But now I have Starlink, the miracle of Starlink. And that's just one of the components of this off-grid system. But I'd like to show that system to you, is what I'm really getting at. And so if any of these reasons for living off-grid appeal to you, then you might be interested in seeing how it's functioning for me. And so I appreciate you watching, and let me know what you think. Namaste. Now, the first thing that I wanted to show you was my water catchment. Here it is. A water catchment is a container that holds water collected from natural sources. In my case, the water that you see is rainwater, but it could be groundwater of any form, river, spring. But mine is rainwater. And this container, this water catchment container, is 30 feet wide and 10 feet deep. It's the largest water container, water catchment that I've ever seen. And it has many benefits. This holds water from rain, so it reduces utility costs. It reduces your reliance on municipal water sources. Now, if there's a drought, which sometimes there is here on the Big Island, then you may have to resort to municipal water sources to get you through. But as you can see, this water catchment is enormous, and would probably survive a drought. But it can also help mitigate local flooding in the area that they are found in. So it helps reduce stormwater runoff, for instance. So it is very environmentally friendly. That's why it's a wonderful thing to be able to rely on Mother Nature herself to give you water for bathing and for washing the dishes. So it is a blessing. Now let me show you the solar panels that provide electricity. And here are my solar panels. As you can see, there are 4 of them which are large and 1 that's a little bit smaller to the side. So I have 5 in total. The smaller one is there just to run the water pump, while the other 4 are there for the electric. Provide electric backup power ranging from 300 to 500 watts. And it all depends on factors such as the number of panels that you have or cells you have and their efficiency. And of course, how much sunlight you receive factors in greatly into whether they're efficient or not. Typically, this is a normal day, and I have electricity all day long, and even into the evening, up to around 9 p.m. The batteries hold the charge. Here in Hawaii, we have a rainy side, a wet side, and a dry side. So there may be spells in which it rains constantly here on the Big Island. And it could last perhaps for weeks, non-stop. I've never experienced this, but the lore is that it may come in the next year or so, I don't know. But when that happens, if it happens, then you have to reduce your energy needs in whatever way you can. Perhaps even turning off Starlink, which takes a great deal of electrical power. Not taking as many showers or turning the lights out all night and using candles. That, if it should occur, and it would only occur for a short spell, and then usually it's like this, beautiful and sunny. So let me now show you the batteries that hold the energy. Now, the same shed that holds these panels is also where we keep the batteries. So let me show you that. Hope you can see. Let me come up close. We have, it's called a pure shine wave inverter. And here we have solar charger controller to control the surge. And then let me tilt this down, and there are the batteries, as you can see. So that's the system. In addition to all of that, I also have Starlink to connect me with the rest of the world. It's not inexpensive. I think it's $80 a month, but it's well worth the ability to stay connected if you want to, and in ways that you control. So I value the technology that permits me to live out here. In the beauty of nature. So there are still other things that I can't really show you that involve living off-grid. One is that we have to go into town to pick up our mail. Everyone here, whether off-grid or not, has a P.O. box because no one delivers to home addresses. That's one thing. Secondly, I have to go into town to do laundry because I don't have enough electricity yet to run a large machine like that. And so there are a few drawbacks. You also have to take care of your own trash. And there's a central place where everyone in Hawaii actually drives to avail themselves of this convenience, which is they take the trash away if you bring it there and put it in their bins. It's not that difficult, and it's everything should be treated as if it were an adventure, which it is. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this beautiful place, and perhaps you too might think about living off-grid. Thank you, and namaste.